Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a special kind of video. I wanted to go ahead and do this one since we're going to be seeing this story arc adapted into the Walking Dead television series very soon. Going to do a throwback review for one of the absolute best parts of The Walking Dead ever, All Out War. And so this video contains spoilers for the Walking Dead comic book series. It contains speculation for the Walking Dead television series, which, may or may not be correct. A lot of it's going to be based on, of course, what we see here and this kind of thing. And just kind of give my thoughts on how it might be adapted, as well as just kind of a review of this part of the Walking Dead comic book series, because there's a few parts in the Walking Dead comic book series that really stick out to me as some of the best parts in the whole series. I'd probably have to go with three in particular, and that is Made to Suffer, which is where we see the final battle go down in the comic book series between Woodbury, so the governor, Woodbury, the tank and everything, and Rick and the others at the prison. So a prison group versus the Woodbury with the tank in the comic book series, Made to Suffer. That one up until that point, that's the best volume of a comic book series I've ever read. And then later on, when we got into Something to Fear, we had some other really good ones, March to War, and then we had, All Out War. So All Out War Part 1 and All Out War Part 2. So there's two parts to it, right? And both are really amazing. And then later on we have The Whisper of War, which I think is another peak. So those three really, and there's some really good ones in between. Something to Fear is intense. You have Fear the Hunter is also very intense. So there's a lot of great parts of The Walking Dead, but three that really stand out are, Made to Suffer, All Out War, and The Whisper War. Those are like the three probably most exciting trades for The Walking Dead, or volumes for The Walking Dead. So where are we at right now for The Walking Dead TV series is about halfway through March to War. And there's actually some of the war is actually in this as well, too, in March to War. You can see on the cover we got Rick, Ezekiel, Jesus. We're about halfway through that, up into the death of Spencer. There's some things that happen afterwards in the comic book series that we haven't seen with Rick and Negan, and possibly the start of kind of like a first kind of battle with them. And it really kind of lets Negan know that this is going to be a war. So up until then, he's not really prepared for it. He doesn't really know. But then, there's some pretty cool stuff. So I'm really excited to see some of this get adapted, into the second half of The Walking Dead Season 7, as you have Rick and Negan starting to go at it for the first time after, being under Negan's thumb. So as they're starting to rise up, so to speak. So that we'll probably see adapted pretty soon before the end of this season. Now, whether or not All Out War makes it into this season, I would think maybe near the end of this half, if not pushed into Season 7. These are probably enough, I think, to get at least half of a season out of. Maybe you could stretch them to a whole season, but that's kind of tricky because in the version we have a lot of back and forth fighting. We have the initial meeting Negan, we have kind of, the breaking down, being under Negan, and then we have in this one, which we're yet to see, Rick and the group's first kind of battle against Negan and the Saviors, and then after that first battle, Negan realizes what's going on as he retreats. Then we have in this one, Rick and the others taking the battle to Negan, so their first assault, which doesn't 100% work. Then you have Negan comes back again, and then you have kind of one final sort of push here where you have both sides meeting in All Out War Part 2. So if I had to pick one volume that is the absolute best in all The Walking Dead, The Whisper War is pretty close, but I think, and Made to Suffer is too, but I think this one actually might be the best because this is the final definitive battle between the survivors and the saviors at this time. So, really great stuff, man. Both of these are like perfect 10 out of 10s for All Out War. This should make Season 8 the best season ever. So even if people have been a little bit, maybe disappointed with Season 7, there's some amazing stuff coming up. I mean, just incredible stuff coming up for Walking Dead when they adapt a lot of these different parts. And hopefully some of it will be this season. If it ends up being Season 8, so be it. All Out War Part 1. So we have Ricky wakes up with Andrea. I'll just quickly recap and I'll give my thoughts on it. We have the start of everybody getting together. We've got everybody loading up. So everyone's getting ready. Rick is getting everybody together. They're getting all prepared, and pretty much this is it. They go to war. So this is the big push from Rick's group. I love this this splash page. It's great. Blam blam. You got Rick, and he's waking the Saviors up. So they take it to the sanctuary. This is the sanctuary. Rick and the others have taken themselves to, Negan, and Negan says, "You got to be effing kidding me right here, right?" He just, what the F? And that's part of what makes All Out War so great, because you have two sides. Of course, everybody's pretty much going to be on the survivors' side. We're all going to be with Rick and the others. We're all going to be on their side because we've followed them all the way through the series. But Negan is so funny and he's so charismatic that it makes his side fun too. And we can clearly see that, the Saviors are in the wrong here. They're the villains in this case. But Negan is so funny that it makes it intriguing to see his side too. It's not like we just hate him like maybe the governor. We can't stand him and we just want to see Rick's group win. Negan is pretty funny too. So this is what he says when Rick and the others roll up to his gates. He says, what the... Okay, I'm just going to swear. What the fuck is this, Rick? We trying to play my dick is bigger than your dick? Because it isn't. Let's see who can see who's from here. And my eyesight is fucking perfect. Rick tries to get him to surrender and everything. Of course, Negan's not going to go for it. Negan reveals that he has Gregory. So Negan has Gregory, the leader of the Hilltop, for anybody who's lay here. And basically, he tries to get some of the people from the Hilltop to stand down. Some of them do, because he's got Gregory and everything, and he threatens to, exile their families and stuff like this. And it's just, man, all the fighting starts, all the chaos goes down. You got all kinds of shooting and stuff. Like, this is one of the most action-packed. So they're shooting up into the sanctuary. There's people in the windows from the factory at the sanctuary shooting back at them. Keep firing, pin them down. Just crazy. You got the glass all being shattered here. Negan's running. Dwight says, send a team out the back to the outposts. Let them know what's going on. Tell them to get their asses back here to help us run these fuckers off. And then Dwight says, yeah, I'll get right on that. So Dwight also is in between, right? Which is really, really exciting. The fuck are they doing? But what they don't expect to happen is all the zombies to hear this fighting going on. And because the sanctuary is sort of inner city, you have pretty quickly a whole shit ton of zombies that start coming after everybody. So Negan says to Dwight, I hope you have your shitting pants on. And Dwight says, what? And Negan says, your shitting pants. I hope you're wearing them right now because you're about to shit your effing pants. Look. And then Dwight sees the huge amount of zombies that are coming in. So Rick and the others have to leave because there's so many zombies coming in. It kind of ruins their attack. And then you have, Holly who won't leave, who will have to see who Holly's part is adapted to. If you guys have seen my death predictions, you know that I think it's probably going to be Sasha. Again, I could be totally wrong. The fastest way to a man's heart is through his vagina. Negan thinks that Holly was with Rick, and he doesn't know that she was with Abraham. So we'll see in the TV series, how that all goes down. And that could be some really great stuff to see. Zombies coming in, and pretty much the rest of it deals with kind of the capture of Holly. So it's a big part of the story. So this could be, season 7 finale, season 8 premiere, first half, this kind of thing. And, you've got Negan and the others fighting off a huge zombie herd here that's coming through from all the fighting and gunfire. You've got David, who's the creeper, who we've seen in the TV series was being real creepy with Enid, and he tries to rape Holly. Negan catches him, and Negan is really against that. See, again, because Negan is like, yeah, he's not totally like, okay, we can obviously tell he is evil, but he's kind of close sometimes. Like sometimes he's close to being redeemable in the eyes of the fans. So because of what David's doing and Negan being totally against it, he smokes him with a Bowie knife. So same kind of thing as he did to Spencer, except he cuts him in the throat, cuts him in the neck, and then he says to her, I'm sorry you had to see that. I really want you to understand, we're not monsters. So he's like, oh my God. And there's the blood everywhere. So, oh my goodness, some really crazy stuff, man. So we got the rest of it pretty much. we go through the rest of the first part of All Out War. More fighting, more craziness, back and forth, outposts being invaded, this kind of stuff. Ezekiel, Shiva. Oh man, just so much fighting and tons of crazy action that could just be translated into such amazing episodes of The Walking Dead. I'm really excited to see all these different events translated. So then that's the first kind of assault on the sanctuary from the survivors. Now the rest of the first part is back the other way. So Negan and the Saviors attacking back at Alexandria, and they're using grenades. Here's Negan. He's on the top of a semi truck. He's throwing grenades. He's chucking them over the wall into Alexandria. Rick, come out, wherever the fuck you are. Don't piss your panties just yet. Lucky for you, right now I just want to talk. I hope that got your attention. There's plenty fucking more where that came from. So, man, oh God, pretty crazy, man. So he goes to give Holly back. Now this is pretty big spoilers, because this will probably be, translated almost exactly. And then we have Holly, who ends up being dead, being a zombie, which is also a nice reveal to the reader, because it leaves us at a part where Negan is protecting her from being raped by David. And then, we find out that he actually has zombified her. They've actually killed her too and set her up. So it's a Trojan horse for both them and also us too. And then they attack, and some big stuff here. You got Heath getting his leg blown off, which of course can't happen in the TV series. So again, that's got to be given to somebody else too if they're going to do it. And also the grenades, I believe, in the TV series were found by Rick and Aaron, and they were actually given to the Saviors when they got back. So the Saviors took all that loot that they had found. There were some grenades in there. So it looks like those are going to be the grenades they use against Alexandria. And just, man, just so much crazy action. This is an interesting part too. There's just so much here, right? You have Dwight, who he starts shooting Saviors, right? He starts gunning them down from behind, because and Jesus kind of looks at him, what the hell are you doing? Because Dwight is kind of on both sides in the comics. So we'll see if that happens in the TV series version. But either way, man, I mean, there are so many amazing things that happen. Just crazy, shocking, some deaths. The action is incredible. Characters almost getting blown apart. Back and forth fighting. I mean, this is incredible. So that's just the first part. Then we have the second part right here, All Out War Part 2, which on the cover you got Negan and the Saviors. They're coming in. They're jolting in, and it's kind of like them versus Rick and the others. So that's Alexandria. Alexandria is pretty much totaled as a result of all this. And you've got a lot of characters that are either injured, some dead. They leave it behind and they head out. We've got Eugene, who's captured, which has kind of already happened in the TV series. He's with the Saviors under their control right now. So we'll see that too. This is an interesting idea that could be cool to see them adapt. So we have Negan, and he decides that for the rest of the war, they're going to gunk up their weapons with zombie guts. So zombie blood, zombie guts, like Lucille. Like he gunks up Lucille with zombie stuff to dirty it up, so that if they are to hit any of the Saviors or the survivors even once or something, and the person's able to get away or whatever, they will be infected. At least this is Negan's idea. So again, it's not just senseless fighting. There's some really interesting strategy in here. There's some really interesting ideas from Negan and the Saviors for what they're going to do. And then we have the hilltop. So the survivors are at the hilltop. The Saviors are going in. Oh, man. You've got the semi-truck ramming down the hilltop wall. And just absolutely crazy. And then you have the survivors who are countering. Man, it's pretty damn epic. I think after going through this, I can say this is clearly better than the Whisper War, I would say. You have Rick, who gets hit with a bolt, which is also crazy. And yeah, some really, really great stuff, because you don't know whose side Dwight is on, one way or another. Just all kinds of crazy back and forth fighting, crazy action. I think that's probably good for a recap. There's still a lot more to it here, but basically, in the end, we see one side win over the other, and I won't get too much into it. Those of you guys who've read it, and it's just an incredibly exciting ending, which I won't really, give away the whole ending to how it all works out. You can read it if you want to. Those guys who have read it, you already know how it all kind of turns out. So All Out War, I'd say, yeah, it's you know, parts 1 and 2. Part 2 being, of course, the finish for the war. It's the best part of The Walking Dead. It's the best part of The Walking Dead ever. It surpasses Made to Suffer, I think, because it's bigger. Like Made to Suffer, there's some back and forth fighting in that too, and there's some huge character deaths in that as well. But I feel like with All Out War, you have Negan, who's so much more fun to read and to hear the things he's going to say than the governor was. And you also have the question of whether or not they can trust Dwight, whose side is he on. Some really interesting stuff as far as that goes. And it's just, the scale is so big that I think it surpasses that. And also the Whisper War, too, which is really great as well, too, because, you know, there's a lot of great things in that, but I think that All Out War really is the best part of The Walking Dead. So be excited, guys. I know the first half of Season 7, a lot of people really weren't feeling it too much. They weren't too excited, you know, from watching it. But I'm telling you guys, All Out War, Parts 1 and Part 2 is the best. 10 out of 10. It's amazing. Perfect. Like, the best comics I've read, and I've been reading comics since I was like 5 years old, 4 years old, right? You know, and for me, this is, I mean, I don't get excited about a lot of releases of comics anymore. Like, I read Batman, I read some Marvel, that kind of stuff, but this is the best. Walking Dead is the best comics I've read in you know, over a decade or two. It's my favorite ever. So this is my favorite part of The Walking Dead, with The Walking Dead being my favorite comic book series ever. It is incredible. So let's hope that this half we have some of All Out War in it. And if not, then we can just look forward to the end of 2017 when we get the first half of Season 8, knowing that it's been a bit of a setup. There's going to be more setup this half, but once it kicks off, man, it should be amazing. It should be just an amazing story arc. Hopefully they adapt it into at least 8 episodes, probably more like 10 or 11, with lots of back and forth fighting in between, lots of subgroups, and just all kinds of craziness. I can't wait to see it. All Out War, the best part of The Walking Dead ever for sure. So for the TV series, let's hope they adapt it well, and that the best part of The Walking Dead is still to come, and soon, and not that far off. So if you guys like this video, I hope you did, guys. You know, I'm still producing the videos every day for you guys. I hope you're feeling it. I hope you're enjoying it. I know I am. So yeah, you know, I guess in that way I can be a little bit selfish. I enjoy doing it. I love doing this with you guys. I hope you guys like it too. If you did like this video, you know what to do, guys. Thumb it up, bottom right. Thumb up the video. If you got a Facebook you wouldn't mind sharing, I appreciate that too. Turn on the notifications at the bottom with the bell. And subscribe if you're new to the channel. Bottom left to sub. Send me questions for tomorrow's Q&A, guys. So let's continue right along. We've got about a month left now for the second half's premiere of The Walking Dead Season 7. I can't wait. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you soon. It's Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.